Hey, everybody, welcome back to I Know a Guy. I'm Anthony, and this is the podcast where connections thrive. Each episode, we spotlight inspiring entrepreneurs, professionals, and individuals doing amazing things. Together, we'll grow your circle, spark collaborations, and discover new opportunities. Today, we're meeting Dr. Michael Neal, founder and CEO of Build My Team, a company revolutionizing the hiring process for healthcare and service-based businesses. As a practicing optometrist, Dr. Mike developed his innovative approach to solve his own hiring struggles, modeling after top brands like Disney and the Four Seasons. How are you doing today, Dr. Mike?
I'm doing terrific. Thanks so much for having me, Anthony.
Yeah, no, I was excited to have you on. You're doing cool things, and you're helping people with a lot of problems. So I was excited to have you on. There's people out there that need to know you. So seeing about some of those introductions. But starting off, get to know you a little bit. Where are you calling in from? Where are you located?
I'm in northeastern Pennsylvania. Build My Team office is in Honesdale, Pennsylvania. Beautiful little town in the Poconos, growing like crazy, and absolutely fantastic area.
I gotcha. Have you been there for a while, or are you newer to the area?
Oh, definitely been here for a while. My as far as the optometry practice goes, that's been since 23 years, something like that. And Honesdale's a neighboring town, great place for a software company, and that's Build My Team's been around since 2016.
Okay, I got you. Let's say you have some friends coming in the town that have never visited before. Where are you going? What are you doing? And where are you guys going for dinner?
Oh, fun. Well, it's a bit of an anomaly for a small town. They have some absolutely fantastic restaurants, some brew pubs, some really good restaurants for a small town, kind of a gastro vibe to the place now. Pulls from all kinds of areas, but I don't know how I could choose just one.
Yeah, I got you. What about like genre of food? How about that? Anything stand out on like your random Monday?
Oh boy, there's everything from Vietnamese through to like small plate tapas type places. Absolutely fantastic dining, fine dining, you name it. And also a good place for pizza and wings.
Yeah, there you go. Now you're speaking my language, so
Yeah.
that's awesome. What can you tell us about what you do? What's Build My Team?
Yeah. Build My Team is a company that it provides a service for our clients where we find you absolutely unbelievably high quality team members for your business. So the way we'd like to think about it is A players for your business. We have an automated and a very regimented system that produces these results throughout North America. Anywhere in North America, we'll be able to get you A plus team members for your business.
Okay. What got you started doing this?
Yeah.
Is this something you've been planning to do for a while? Was it a happy accident? Is this what you've always wanted to do?
Well, it was a happy accident. That's a great way to put it. I'm going to steal that line. But it was a happy accident out of misery. In fact, hiring in a rural area is brutal. And where for our optometry practice, we found out we were doing everything wrong. After the fact, of course, we had no idea at the time. But we were using resumes to hire. And so this became a system that we created based upon how these really great customer service companies are doing their hiring. And the bottom line is that we now hire for strengths and talents, not whatever you see on a resume. And the difference is it's all the difference in the world in terms of how to get A plus superstar performers on your team.
I gotcha. How come so many people are kind of stuck in the past when it comes to the resume hiring as opposed to your guys' approach, which, we're facing a lot of problems right now as far as trying to hire good staff. And then I imagine if you niche down even further, it's even harder because you're taking away the general pool.
Right. I would say it's probably never been remarkably worse, all things considered. And I think that the main reason why folks, first of all, more people need to hear about Build My Team. Bit of a weighted opinion on that, but I think the real reason is folks are just stuck in inertia and momentum with that approach with resumes. So you hire because people submit a resume, you look at a resume, but a resume doesn't tell you what they're good at. It tells you what they claim to be good at or what they've done in the past. And from our experience, having actually measured what people's strengths and talents are and what they're outstanding at, resumes are made up, primarily made up. And the younger the person, or honestly, the more duplicitous the person, the further away the resume will be from what they're actually good at. And I say younger because younger folks just generally don't know what they're good at. So our process is to automatically measure that when they apply for positions. It takes about 10, 15 minutes for people to go all the way through. And at the end of that, we know more about them in a lot of ways than they know about themselves. And what I mean by that is what they're actually good at, their actual strengths and talents. And as I'm sure you've seen this before, Anthony, you put a person who has the strengths and talents into a role that requires exactly what they can be awesome at, and that's where magic is made. It's the real fit between what they're amazing at and what the business requires.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense to keep those square pegs in the
Yeah.
square holes instead of just trying to shove them wherever you think is going to be a
Yeah,
fit.
well, what the business world does is the square peg, round hole, bigger hammer approach. It doesn't work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're going to bounce right out.
Yeah.
So absolutely. So what is it that you love most about what you're doing?
Getting people from all walks of life, new positions, help them up, help them achieve, help them get on their way to promotions, and doing that all through an essentially highly automated system. It's really fun. In fact, we have everybody knows Slack nowadays. We have a Slack channel called Bang the Gong. It's a virtual gong. Whenever we get anybody a job, we bang the gong. And it's gone off twice so far this morning.
That's good. I like that.
Yep.
That's a lot of fun. So your average client, just in general, or what are the pain points that they might be going through? That if somebody's dealing with XYZ, you're the person that they should be talking to.
There are no good people. That's issue number one. So sure there are. You're just looking in the wrong spots the wrong way. So we find great people all day long. And it's so repeatable to do that, but you have to abandon the approach that's not providing the results for you. That's number one. I think number two would be somewhere in the realm of I keep hiring the wrong people. The standard concept of the hamster on the exercise wheel. I'm doing the same thing over and over again and getting the same results but expecting different ones. That's of course a definition of insanity. What we want to kind of get the word out about Build My Team is that you don't have to do that anymore. You can flat out work with us. We're incredibly inexpensive, and tell our team what hiring problems you're having. And if you're looking for the same type of people over and over, that is our sweet spot. We can produce those folks all day long.
Okay. What about power partners? What are other industries or professionals that you find a lot of synergies or potential collaborations working with?
Yeah, so anybody we started out in eye care, then healthcare, private practices. We are very lucky to be extremely skilled in that area. And when I say that, I mean we can get people for those positions with a 97% certainty that they are going to work out extremely well in the job. And through 90 days, we lose about 7% of those. So it's a translation, virtually everybody stays. And why do they stay? Because it's a great fit for each of these people and they can excel and do very well with them. So those are some, just some general statistics I'm pretty happy about.
Okay. And then going from, what you're doing before to this and, taking on these roles, you've definitely had some ups and downs. You've learned some stuff along the way. What advice would you give to a new or aspiring entrepreneur?
Ooh, well, with hiring, it's simply to be decisive and to text. Trying to email people for hiring is a waste of time. General folks aren't checking their emails anywhere close to as much as they claim. So you want to be decisive, definitive, and the A player folks they respond extremely well to that. They hate people who can't make decisions. They're not going to work for you if you can't make a decision or a good decision on top of that. And then in terms of entrepreneurial advice, nothing to do with hiring. This one is so remarkably simple, it's ridiculous. Profit equals revenue minus expenses. And you say, well, there's so much drive for businesses nowadays to get the top line number. Our revenue is 10 million a year, $1 million a year. Okay, what if you're making 50 grand on both? You don't have a business. You just got lucky. So I would say that really taking a long, hard look at maximizing profit along the way. In some startups, that may not be the goal. It's to grow very, very quickly, but never forget profit. It is the lifeblood of a business. Oh, one other thing, if I could add, they say cash is king. It's not. Cash is oxygen for a small business. It's not. It's nothing more than that. If you try and hold your breath for more than about a couple of minutes, and you'll find out how important oxygen is. It's the same thing for a business.
I like that. No, that's spot on. All of it. So fantastic. How can healthcare and service-based businesses improve just their hiring process? Like, what are the main things that they're doing wrong?
So you want, from an entrepreneurial side of things, if I cut straight to that chase, you want to hire people who aren't you. You have to hire, and this is very difficult for entrepreneurs, especially early stage ones. You want to hire somebody who's a complement to your skill set, to your natural strengths and talents. You don't necessarily need more of you. What you need is people on your team that can take off the stuff from your plate that you don't like doing to begin with, so that you can do the stuff you're amazing at. For example, sales, or building the product, advancing the product, that type of thing. But it's not going to be sitting looking at resumes and combing through those, as an example.
Yep. No, and that makes perfect sense when you step back far enough to look at it. Because if you're a really, really good plumber, you should spend your time doing that, not like you said, flipping through resumes or
Right.
scrolling, the Instagram, whatever it is. Do the money making activity and then hire people for the rest. It makes perfect sense.
Right.
How can companies use hiring strategies from these large brands to build better teams?
Well, I think the approach there is simply to assess what people are good at. So the Build My Team process, we assess their mindset, an applicant's speed of learning. We know how fast they learn. And this is incredibly accurate and wildly predictable. So if you're bringing somebody on your team that doesn't learn fast, Anthony, how's that going to work out? You know what I mean? And so we're also assessing what they're good at, not what they claim to be good at, but what their actual strengths and talents are, that type of thing. So I think going through an assessment process versus a resume is a complete game changer. And that's why we use the assessment process, because it's the only way we know of to accurately determine what these folks are good at.
So you're able to get, like you said, only 7% loss over that, which is amazing. A lot of people are facing way, way, way worse numbers.
Of course. Yeah.
So how can business owners not only find, like we mentioned, but also retain that top talent?
Oh, this is a bit of a counterintuitive approach. And I think the best way to find and retain the top talent, well, part of the approach is to focus on that. The other part of the approach, which folks miss, is to let the C and the D players, if you will. So top talent, A+, A players, maybe some B+, but everybody else lower than that, generally, they're not working in the right fit for them. You either find the right fit for those people, or you let them go and find jobs elsewhere where they are the right fit and they can perform. What I mean by that is you got to let your performers run and get rid of the people on your team that are not performing. And by doing that simple activity, as hard as it might seem, as much as it feels like eating glass for entrepreneurs, what that does is it automatically attracts that top level talent. They're going to want to work with you because, Anthony, an A player, and I'll say this till I'm blue in the face, an A player only wants to work with an A player. They will tolerate a B player, and they're going to leave their job for the C's and D's players. They're gone. Yep. So if you want to repel top talent, keep the C's and D's. You want to attract top talent, surround them with A's and B's.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. When Michael Jordan was playing basketball, he was an A player, A+ player. But when he went over to baseball, how long was he there? Right?
Didn't work out.
Was in the wrong fit, and guess what happened? Right?
Yeah.
Fantastic advice. It makes a lot of sense. It's just so overlooked. And we've been doing it one way forever. It's hard to overcome that. So that's awesome. And I know we could spend a lot of time going into all this, because when you're talking about attracting and retaining talent, you're talking about people, and people are complex, they're messy. So trying to get into the weeds, don't want to do that. But just in general, is there anything that I missed or failed to ask that you wanted to add?
The main thing basically is the concept of measuring strengths and talents. And like we said early on, the round peg, round hole, square peg, square hole. Don't get the bigger hammer out. It just doesn't work. The best approach for this is to meet people where they're actually at in terms of what they're actually good at, and match what they're good at to the role that you have, if it requires that type of person. And that's the nuts and bolts of it all. But that's what we've automated to Build My Team. And I'll give you an example in our own practice. We went from 14 employees down to 10 and a half, actually, full-time equivalents. Gross revenue went up a little over 50%, and the net almost tripled. And you say, how on earth is that possible? Well, I was on a Zoom once with a financial analyst for his podcast. He didn't believe me. We did a Zoom after, and I showed tax returns. So what did I just describe to you? I described to you, if it's unpacked, the power of A players and how much more productive they are versus the C's and the D's.
Yeah, A players in the right spot, matching their strengths. That makes perfect sense. And
Yeah.
it's not even remotely out of the question that you'll see that kind of result and that kind of return off of fixing.
Right. And another thing, if I could add, there's that old adage about getting the right people on the bus. That is critical, but not only getting them into the right people on the bus, but getting them into the right seats on the bus. That's critical as well. Because when you have the right people on your bus in the right seats on the bus, and you've got a pretty darn good bus driver, then as an owner, what you got to do is draw them a map, put some guardrails on the roads so they don't go crazy on you, and let them just get out of the way. Let them drive the bus. You will step back and be shocked at how incredibly effective these people are at solving your problems and getting so much more accomplished than you ever thought possible.
For those that are ready to fill their bus with the right people and put them in the right spots, where can they find you? How can they get a hold of you?
Oh, what a great wrap up. That's fantastic. Buildmyteam.com. So www.buildmyteam.com. Free consultations. Hop on the phone. Tell our team you're hiring nightmares. Tell them where you're stuck, and we will let you know how we can help you. If we can't help you, we will not take your business. That's one of the reasons why we have such an incredibly high batting average. When clients work with us, they can be absolutely certain we're going to knock it out of the park for them.
Perfect. If anybody would like to get a hold of Dr. Mike, do it. We all either are somebody that's going through that or know somebody that is. It is not an uncommon problem facing people today. So absolutely reach out, have that conversation. Getting the right people on the bus in the right seats. It's simple, and it's going to do nothing but help your business. So absolutely reach out, have that conversation, see if there's a way that you can be helped. Other than that, if you'd like to get a hold of me, you can find me at ikag.me. You can find more episodes, subscribe to our newsletter, and connect with our growing community of awesome people like Dr. Mike. If you or somebody would like to be interviewed, you can also apply on our website. But Dr. Mike, I really appreciate you taking the time. You're
Thanks,
out
Anthony.
there. Yeah, no, you're solving a problem that we hear about all the time. I can't hire the right people. There's nobody good out there, and it's so common. So it's awesome that there's people out there like you that are doing it right, helping people not only hire better people, but also for the person getting the job, they're getting the job that they want, and they're going to do the stuff that they're good at. That feels better. So it's a win-win all around. I really appreciate
it's fantastic. Yeah.
I appreciate what you're doing. Let's all go have an awesome day and grow our circles. All right.
Thanks so much, Anthony.
My pleasure.